everyone, and welcome to the Light the Way POGcast. Today we're going to be here to answer some of the questions that we've received from you, the fans. I'm Doom Muffins, my pronouns are he, him, and I'm the music director for this project, the master of beeps, boops, and everything in between. I'll let the other two here introduce themselves, starting with you, Arum.
Correct, I'm Arum. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm the CG co-leader. Also, I'm a game design student and an artist.
And I'm Orca, I go by she, they, and I am one of the artistes for this great project.
We are members of Simporiem Studios, a fan group that is producing Light the Way, a Luxiem dating sim. It's a game project that began production on the 20th of June 2022 and that has since expanded from 20 members to over 100 members.
Your story starts on your first day as a server at the cabaret, and you've already been asked out by 5 charming young men. Suave, energetic, affectionate, gentle, or carefree. Who would you prefer?
We're gonna start off with some fan-submitted questions, and this is about the game itself. So, first off, what inspired the concept and setting of the game?
A great question to start off with. So, since Luxiem has a jazz theme and Luca is a mafia boss that could run a cabaret, the project team decided to base the game in a cabaret inspired by Yakuza Zero's cabaret management minigame. Our project founder likes Atoma games and Luxiem, so they found like-minded and amazingly talented people to work with through public recruitments. But let's be honest, we are all just Sims, so that's mostly why we made the game.
Absolutely. Speaking of the concept setting, we got a question, what was the inspiration behind the storyline in Light the Way? So it actually depends on the route. There's one route for every boy in Luxiem, and each route is completely separate from each other in terms of story. They were all written by different teams, and each team had their own inspirations for the story. And so each route ends up being a combination of that Luxiem member's lore, their charm points, their personality traits, that sort of thing. Also for Ike, a big inspiration was a Atome game called Cinderella Phenomenon. The Ike route lead also asked me to emphasize that personal experience also played a big part in how the route was written.
Definitely not maidenless.
Definitely not maidenless. And as for Shu, the team was inspired by the visual novel Collar X Malice.
And as we've already mentioned, for Luca, we decided to go with the cabaret theme and, of course, the mafia theme. And for Mister, we decided to go with Tears of Themis and mostly spur of the moment ideas.
And then finally we have Vox. True to form, we had some bare bones notes, and the rest we just kind of figured out as we went along. Like fan like Oshi, right? On that topic, the next question asks, when writing scenarios, do you think more about the lore of the streamer, or do you focus more on the on-stream personality of that streamer?
In Mister's case, we decided to try to keep the lore and what the streamer says he is in mind, but we try to emphasize his personality so the streamer himself is presented well.
For Ike, it was kind of a mixture of both. We leaned more to Ike's personality between the two, and we put the route into a setting that's both romantic and a little teasing at the same time.
Which sounds like a fun time to me.
We do a little teasing here.
Just a little.
Just a little.
For Vox, it was most certainly a mixture of both. We wanted something that both Vox himself and the player could enjoy. We made sure to have fun doing it, because if we didn't have fun, there was going to be no point. So there's memes everywhere, there's references everywhere. It's a fun time.
And just like Doom explains, we also decided to use both for Luca. We tried to keep true to his nature, so hopefully he comes across as a golden retriever if it's a ladybug and started barking at it.
That's pretty cute. As for Shu's route, we all know that there isn't really much official lore, so the team based most of Shu's story on his persona and what the community perceives as lore or headcanon. And for those of you who had played the demo, you know that some of his alters have appearances. Wink wonk.
Wink wonk.
So now let's talk about the organization of the project.
Yeah, and I will start with the first question. So, a fan asked us, the art is so good, thank you by the way, how many artists worked on this project? What was their workflow with that number of people?
Thank you very much for the compliment.
Art team Taskaru.
Well, we have over 70 artists, and in order to get a consistent art style, we start by having a reference sheet of all the people we included in the game for the artists to follow. We broke down the art department into sketching, line art, coloring, and rendering. This whole structure helped us to work all efficiently and make sure that we get our work done in time.
That's correct, and the art team did amazing. So, another question we've been asked is, I applied to be a beta tester for the full game. Will I be guaranteed to be accepted, or is there a screening process for that?
Yes, we got a lot of applications for beta testers, and I just want to put forward, we appreciate everyone who applied. Even if you didn't get in, thank you. But there were so many people who applied, we couldn't accept everybody. We didn't have any intensive screening process or anything like that. Mainly, what we used to pick people was, what was the quality of the feedback you offered on our demo? Was it precise and thorough? How well do you communicate? That sort of thing.
By the time the podcast is out, beta testers would already have received the invites to the team. So, moving on from that, will there be any unique scenes where it's like a full screen artwork and not just the character sprite on the background?
Of course, and by the way, those artworks are called CGs or computer graphics. And in the demo, you could see some of them for 2 of the boys. But in the final game, there will be 5 CGs for each of the boys.
Our next question says, the demo was so fun. Thank you. It seems like a really big project. Is this only a small team managing everything? How do you manage to keep track of everything? Do you have separate people just in charge of promotional stuff as well? And who is the genius making the memes? I want to know. Thank you so much for your questions. I don't know what qualifies as a small management team. There's actually quite a few of us in the management team. For example, myself, I work on the music. I'm the music director. We also have, for example, Arum over here, who is the CG leader. We have, for every route has their own leaders. We have a social media leader. It kind of adds up to a lot of people. So each part of the game is being focused on by people who, most of the time, know what they're doing.
Yeah, and they're doing an awesome job, for real. We also have a social media team in charge of producing trailers, writing posts, and responding to public queries in case you have any questions or things you just want to tell us. The memes themselves, they're made by a lot of different people inside and outside the leader circle. And our members are super duper funny, so I get it.
Yeah, so there isn't actually one person behind all the memes that have appeared on our social media accounts. All sorts of members have come forward with their meme ideas, and what you see up there are the ones that we really like the most.
Yeah, and that's not only the case for the memes. Even the artwork that's been used on social media was made by multiple people. And most of the time, the artists get to, how do I put this? Put their own ideas into it. And it's a fun time, I can tell you that.
We got a question that asked whether they could get a copy of this banner, or in general, a copy of all our promotional art.
And to answer that question, the banner is actually available from our Linktree. And all the other promotional art will be uploaded in the future. You can screenshot the assets from the game, but please make sure to credit us if you're gonna post it.
We also got asked, will there be any voiceovers from clip streams? For example, Vox making a kiss sound or Lucas shouting Pog.
Pog. Well, there are a few sound clips, but we only use them at certain points throughout the game, not the whole way through. But anyway, to answer your question, yes, there will be a few clip voices from stream that you can hear in the final game.
That's right, and another question we've been asked is there going to be a good and a bad ending for each of the Luxiem boys in the game? Yes, there is. Actually, we have 3 endings for each of the boys, which is hope, dark, and friendship, which is more of a friend zone kind of situation, I'm just saying. And all of that will be depending on what choices you make.
We should probably mention that even though friend zone sounds bad, the main character will not be maidenless, okay? Smirk emoji.
Next up, a fan asks, will any of the sprites have animation movements, or will it stick to being how it was like in the demo?
Unfortunately, there will be no animation, and that's due to the workload of our team already. We don't really have time to put that level of animation into the game.
Yeah, but maybe in the future we can change that. Talking about the future, we have some questions about our future plans, which I will start off with. When are you planning on releasing the full game, and is it going to be free like the demo?
You're gonna have to give us a little more time to cook. The full game will be released on April the 30th due to unforeseen circumstances. Coincidentally, April the 30th is also National Jazz Day, so please look forward to it. The full game will be available for free on itch.io.
We've also received a lot of questions about what systems the game is going to be available on release. So, the demo is currently available on Windows, Linux, and Mac, and the full game will also be available on all of those platforms. We got a question about Chromebook. Chromebook is technically Linux, so you can download the Linux version for the Chromebook. There's some extra hoops you have to jump through to open up the file, but you can do it. As for mobile, we do have plans to release the game on mobile. We're not yet sure if it's going to be something specific to Android or iOS, or whether it would be something on the App Store, but we do plan to have something for mobile, so look forward to that.
And back to the game itself. How many blessed days are we gonna spend with each of the boys in their routes?
Well, the days themselves are kept vague, but in the end you will have 7 chapters worth of fun with each of the boys.
And not only the boys, since the alters will also be making appearances in the main story.
Wait, just the alters? What about the other NijiEN members?
Well, that's classified information. Okay, so to be honest, we did have Uki in the demo. So, we will have some NijiEN members in there already. But, the rest you're just gonna have to find out for yourself, huh?
And talking about characters, there's one more important character we need to talk about. Will the player character or the main character be shown, and if so, what will they look like? Or is it like a shadowy person? Our MC has a design for them, and you'll be able to see it in some of the CGs. You'll just have to look for that for yourself.
And speaking of the CGs, will some of the CGs and backgrounds in the demo be changed? Or are they the final products already?
And yes, they will definitely be updated. And in the demo, we had a few placeholders for the backgrounds, and some of the CGs were unfinished yet. But in the full game, the visuals will be fully updated, and it will be a treat.
We also got a lot of feedback how at the start of the game you could choose your pronouns. We got questions that asked whether that was an idea from the start of the game's development or whether it was a suggestion made later. There were plans to include pronoun options in the game since day one. We built the entire game around the assumption that you could choose your pronouns, which is important because it affects all the grammar. For example, you have to say he is or they are. So our coding team has been having a lot of fun with that one.
I bet it must have been a lot of work. But, actually, this has been all of our questions. And to top off this episode, there are some extra questions for the host today. And we've been asked, whose route is your favorite? Well, personally, I'm a big Ike fan, but I have to admit, Vox's route is very, very interesting.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely Vox's route. I mean, I consider myself a distinguished meme connoisseur, and we already talked about the memes in Vox's route, which makes it a winner in my book already. But there is one other reason. You're gonna have to let me be all mysterious about this again, because I can't reveal it yet, but I'm gonna give you a hint right now, okay? Here we go. There you go. That's your hint.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh. Oonga boonga. As for me, I personally like Schubert's route, and I'm looking in Luca's direction a little bit too. So let's go into our final question. Thank you all for listening so far. What are some of your favorite memories you've made while working on this game with the team?
That is a loaded question, especially because we've all been working on this project for such a long time. But for me personally, I really enjoyed getting to know so many different people and the way their minds work, the way they work on different things and the way they approach different things, and how talented everyone is and how kind we treat each other, which just overall was such an inspiration for me. But if I had to talk about one specific memory that stands out, it would probably be the first day I ever was in a leaders meeting and I unmuted, and I was just planning on talking about some normal work-related things, and all of a sudden the entire VC chat was just filled with Taskarus and oh my god, Arum voice reveal. And I just have to say, I was flustered for a good 30 minutes.
Yeah, the same happened to me. We are professional simps here. For me, I guess the big memory for me is that when you've got your head down and you're working on the game. For me, I'm on the music team, so I'm working with the music team members. I'm also doing composing myself, mixing, mastering, all the smaller stuff you have to do to put the music together for a game. It's easy to lose sense of the full scale of the project that you're working on. And when the demo came out, that's when everything just kind of clicked. It just kind of came together. And of course, I played the demo myself, and it really just hit me just how big of a project this is and how long everyone's been working and the scale of the resulting product. That was really impactful for me. And if we're also putting forward our personal moments of embarrassment, sometime around the release of the demo, we all got together for a big session of Jackbox games. If any of you have played Jackbox, you might know that there's a lot of games that revolve around drawing things. I should emphasize I have not drawn anything since middle school, and the art that I created was quite possibly some of the most cursed stuff I've ever created in my life. And the cherry on that sundae was that my art, along with a lot of other people's, got made into server emotes. So now I have to live with the pain of my own drawings every day.
Immortalized.
Sure, we'll call it immortalized.
Sure.
You have a legacy here, bro. As for me, I originally went into the project making background work, and I just wanted to work and learn with other artists in general. I always need to practice for art, and everyone is just so freaking talented. I just felt motivated to do my best. And even further from the art department, like, everybody is like doing their best and then working hard, being so patient with each other, and seeing it all together. It's freaking amazing. And then you get to see the product. Like, we straight up made a game. Like, this is awesome. And straight up, yippee! Yippee! So that's all from us today. Thank you for tuning in to the POGcast. I'm Orca.
I'm Do Muffins.
And I'm Arum.
Pog! Please let us off the basement. I've only been friends.